Let's move on to the other side of the page. So we've got sales. They indicates one's ideas and beliefs about sales. So holding a negotiation, cutting a deal, making maybe a promise, like that's right on the edge, being persuasive, and leading the client to the buy. All of those ideas around sales. And you know that selling is really emotional for a lot of people. And the test has a lot of questions that prompts you to investigate how you feel about that. And that's where it shows up. It shows up in the subtrait sales. It is good if it's above 50. It means that if you're hiring a salesperson and they've got sales at -10, they're not going to sell anything for you. Maybe they even have low principles, or maybe they even have high principles. So extremely ethical, extremely loyal. They're not going to say anything that isn't true. And sometimes in sale, we have to to kind of bend the truth a little bit, or present it through the lens that will be comprehended by our client on the other side. But if you have someone that has high principles and low sales trait, they're not going to do it for you. Don't hire them, because it's a disaster waiting to happen. Then we've got financial control. Indicates how well the person understands money management and how well they actually practice it. So I may know exactly what I have to do to manage my money. This is really good with solopreneurs, freelancers, or even startups that might not have all their numbers in check, if you are interviewing someone for an admin job, if you are interviewing a client and you know that you need to be paid at certain intervals, and you see that he's got financial control at -30 or -40, he's not good with money. You don't know how he is not good with money, but he's not good with money. He either manages it but spends it, or spends it and doesn't manage it, or doesn't have a clue about money management, about financial management. So it is an interesting trait to observe, whether we are talking to a client, whether we are talking to an admin recruit or a financial recruit, whether we are talking with startups that need to have their money in check. And then last but not least, we have reliability. Reliability is not a behavioral trait. It's the test algorithm. It measures the consistency of the person's responses. So the test is built with this algorithm. You will have noticed, having done the test yourself, that it will ask you the same question phrased differently on different occasions at random. The reason why it is built this way is because this actually tests your consistency. Okay, so that's number one. Also, in my experience, the lower it is, the lower the person actually knows themselves. The higher it is, the better the person knows themselves and has answered as themselves. I will explain it to you in another way. I scored 90 over 100, and my EPA test shows a certain thing. If you were to take my test and go to my husband and say, so, is it true that Annalisa acts like this, and she has these syndromes, and she has this, and she has these inefficiencies, and he'd be like, yep. So the higher the reliability score, the more aligned the picture that you have of yourself is with the picture that people have of you. Which is really important, because if we have a client that has a low reliability score, they might not agree with what you tell them in delivery, because they are not aware, because they don't really know themselves. So they might have answered the test based on some people pleasing or coach pleasing or consultant pleasing thought pattern. They gave the right answers, but they're not the real answers. So then you go and deliver the test that has maybe a 20 score on reliability, and the person looks at you like you're a unicorn. Like, no, that's not me. Obviously, because they were not truthful in their answers. That's why I always write in the instructions, please be honest. Answer as honestly as possible. I do not see your answers. I just see colors on a page. So you are not being judged. This is not an exam. But if you don't say the truth, then what comes through will not be able to help you. So whatever instructions you will give to your clients, if you start using this tool with them, you have to make sure that you highlight this particular instruction. You can copy mine and use mine if you like them, or you can better mine and share with the group. Point is, they need to answer for how they behave most of the time. Another instruction that you may offer is this. If you were allowed to do and behave in any possible way, how would you behave? So if you're reading a question, sometimes I explain this verbally to my clients before they take the test. And I say, when you find a question and you don't know how to answer, ask yourself, if I were able to be me, if I was authorized to be me, uncensored, how would I respond? Because that's the real you. That's the real us. If we were able to behave in an uncensored way and we were sure that society and our partners and our children and our friends and everybody would love us anyway, how would we behave? That's us. It opens up a very profound discussion. Maybe we can take it up on a Q&A if this topic is of interest to you. But so you must encourage, in order for this reliability trait to be useful to you, you must encourage them to answer honestly. There are no right answer. There are only honest answers. How do you behave most of the time? What comes most natural to you? If you were uncensored and authorized, how would you behave? That's it. Okay. So we have come to the end of Module 1. I'm super excited. So let's wrap all of this up in Q&A sessions. Send me your questions, share them in the group, share them with your peers. Let's discuss, let's dive right in. And in the next module, we're going to start and interpret compulsions and syndrome, another exciting chapter. I'll see you there.